Welcome to the Yolo County District Attorney podcast series, The Chronicles of Justice. My name is Wendy Wilcox, and I will be facilitating today's podcast. The time has come for Yolo County students to head back to school. Today we will be discussing the importance of school attendance and how it plays such a vital role in the success of each student, both in school and in society as a whole. Here at the Yolo County District Attorney's Office, we believe that early involvement is vital in getting children on the right track and doing what we can to keep them there. We are joined today by Yolo County Deputy District Attorney Vita Mandela, the Yolo County Office of Education Superintendent Jesse Ortiz, and their Assistant Superintendent of Instructional Services, Garth Lewis, as well as Michaela, a student that will soon begin her senior year at high school. Thank you all for joining us today as we deliver this important message to students and parents alike. Vita, why don't we start with you? In what ways does the Yolo County District Attorney get involved with Yolo County schools to ensure maximum attendance?
Well, several years ago, the Yolo County District Attorney's Office started what would be called the Yolo Truancy Abatement Committee, also known as YTAC, and that is a collaborative with the school districts as well as with probation, child protective services. We have mental health involved, plus the public defender's office. And the goal is we meet monthly during the school year to try to figure out how we can assist all our students throughout the school district to be more successful and understand what problems every school district is entailing in order to solve those issues and help our kids better. Also, as an outreach from that, we have established a DA mediation program, and that's where DA's office gets more involved in trying to get the students to school. We meet with the families that have been chosen from the school districts that are having exceedingly difficulties getting the kids to school, and we try to figure out how we can get them services they need, or maybe changing schools where they might be more successful at, so that they can have a successful school attendance throughout the school year. Also, as part of that, I meet individually with kids and parents. I also do outreach in terms of going to homes with students and whatever else is necessary that might help a particular family be more successful.
Okay, has this program proven to be effective?
I think, like with any program, this program is as effective as long as the students and their families are willing to accept the help and services that the DA's office, along with the school district, can provide. Those kids that followed our help and we get them into the programs, they're very successful. They go on, a lot of them, even though they haven't graduated from high school, have been able to achieve their GED and go on and get jobs. The other kids that don't actually accept our services, those kids, we can't help them in terms of them graduating because they will not do what they need to do to be successful.
So how early, in your opinion, should we become involved with the children? I
think my goal in this county is to involve with all the school districts at kindergarten level. You already see a pattern of kids not attending school then, and because kindergarten is so much more important than it used to be, because there's standards that are required for the kids. If they get behind in kindergarten, it just continues in first, second, and third grade. So it's really important that the kids get that pattern of school. Plus, it also helps the school know if the kids have some problems that need to be addressed that in terms of services, because they have maybe learning disabilities and stuff. The earlier those are detected, the better off the kids are to be successful.
And is there a pattern that you see where students that have truancy issues also may end up involved in the criminal justice system?
I can almost guarantee almost every kid that we see in the criminal justice system as juveniles is habitually truant and behind in school. That's a pattern that you can see in all their attendance records. We get those records and we look, and it's sad to see that so many kids are failing their classes because they aren't going to school, and by the time they hit high school, they're so far behind they have given up.
Sad reality. Okay, thank you, Vita. We're going to go to you now, Jesse. From your perspective, what is the importance of school attendance and parent involvement?
Thank you, Wendy. First of all, I want to thank the District Attorney's Office for giving both Assistant Superintendent Lewis and myself an opportunity to be on this show today. In terms of the importance of school attendance and parent involvement, in my 34 years of public education, those are the two keys, two of the major keys actually that you can consistently say are the real issue in terms of really positive school achievement. Obviously, if you have a positive attendance, you have a child that more than likely is doing well in school, that enjoys school. So there's no doubt that school attendance is key, and part of that is parent involvement. If you have a parent involved in school, there's more likely that the child will be successful, and there's a correlation, school attendance, parent involvement. That parent tends to be more involved in the school, the student tends to be more interested and more likely to be successful. But they're both very, very critical to the success of a child, not only in the educational system, but for years to come as an adult in terms of developing good patterns and attendance, whether it be at work or college or whatever the case may be.
So another key factor is developing student-teacher relationships. Tell us your opinion on that.
Well, that is also a very critical part of it because everything around education and in any kind of program is built on relationships. Our program at Yolo County Office of Education is a little bit different than maybe the regular school district you might hear about, like in Davis School District or Woodland District and so forth. But we for the most part handle most severe, most at-risk children in the County Office of Education. Those that are in alternative education, which Mr. Lewis I'm sure will touch on a little bit, those that are in special education, and those that are starting Head Start, which usually those are the most lowest income in the county. But I can tell you that at the County Office of Education, we have made that a priority in all three programs. The fact of the matter is, especially in the alternative ed program, when they end up at the County Office of Ed program, Cesar Chavez Community School, or for that matter, we run the schools at Dan Jacobs, the juvenile hall, they come with a truancy program, truancy problems as it is. So our work is cut out, but again, we have a fantastic staff with the intent of building relationships, giving that student not only a second, but maybe a third and fourth chance, because that's sometimes we have to do, and we don't quit on our students.
Okay, what is the way that you handle students with absentee issues?
Again, I think the first and foremost is getting into the home. And in our particular case, the County Office of Education, sometimes that can be difficult, complex, because many of the parents are dealing with the same issues that their adolescent children are dealing with. Special education parents tend to be a little bit more involved in many cases because they're strong advocates for their children. And Head Start, we have programs there where parents have to be involved or come to meetings. But in general, if you took, again, the Woodland District or Davis School District, they have a process where after the third truancy, 30 minutes or more late, which is unexcused, most districts already have a process to do some intervention, either with a counselor. Most districts have what they call a SARB, School Attendance Review Board, and working with the district attorney. Not to be punitive, but to see how they can support the family and the child to make sure they get on board and consistent pattern for school attendance. So it's a big issue, and it continues to be an issue statewide. But again, I have to go back to how do you deal with it is relationship building.
That's great, yes. Okay, Garth, what is the impact of attendance on academic outcomes, especially in the early grades?
Sure, Wendy. One of the things that the importance of education shows us, and attendance is a key component of that, is that our students are able to build positive habits that positively impact their academic achievement, but also outcomes for life. They're building positive habits, they're building opportunities for success, they're developing routines that will really help them with implanting these positive pro-social outcomes for them in their lives. One of the pieces that research shows is that the greatest impact on student achievement is the quality of the teacher, but even the most high-quality teacher has a challenge in impacting positive outcomes when the student isn't present. We know that when students miss school, that the likelihood for them to succeed academically is significantly diminished. And for that matter, as we look at the outcomes for high school dropouts, there definitely is a correlation between absenteeism and the likelihood of a student dropping out or not going on to be successful in college.
What should each family's goal be as far as the percentage of days that their student should be attending school?
So we recommend that a 95% attendance rate at the very least be the target. That allows students to, in cases where there are family emergencies or funerals and the like, it gives them some cushion. But the state's definition of chronic absenteeism is any student who misses 10% or more of the school year, which equates to 18 days or roughly 2 days per month. And so we definitely want to encourage families to have in mind that their students need to attend on a regular basis and to set that target of at least 95% attendance.
Okay. Finally, would you describe strategies that you feel could be useful to help children maintain good attendance?
Sure. At the very onset of their educational career, I think it's really important that families talk about the importance of attending school, that they regularly praise and give positive feedback for to their children on their attendance. Also, continue modeling for their children, showing up to their own appointments and to work, and those habits that they want to develop and nurture within their children, being those positive role models. Also, most school districts have some sort of communication tool in place, Schoology or School Loop, for examples, that provide regular updates to parents on their students' attendance at the early grades, their daily attendance, at the upper grades, middle school and high school, their period attendance. So registering for those programs and maintaining a regular attendance check and communication with their children in the children's school are also positive strategies to help with that. We also encourage our parents to set up appointments, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, outside of the school day whenever possible to help with maintaining that positive attendance. And then I would also recommend that there be a backup plan in place, transportation-wise, just in case there's that emergency, knowing that there's a neighbor that you trust, there's a family member that you can call on to help with getting your child to school when an unforeseen situation arises. At the Yolo County Office of Education, one of the things that we do as a school is we do go out and pick students up, and so we communicate regularly with our parents on attendance and try to remove every barrier for our youth in their attendance efforts. And that would be something that you would want to reach out to any school within the school district with regard to the kinds of services and supports that may be in place from the counseling department or from a parent advocate that is employed by the school district. There are many resources that our districts in Yolo County have that parents could avail themselves of to help support them in their efforts to get their children to school.
And I'd like to add that I myself have signed up for School Loop, and I have found it to be a very valuable tool because I get daily emails that say what the upcoming assignments that are due or things that they're working on. And so as a parent, that's helped me to focus on what my child's need is in the days and weeks ahead. Yeah. So I've found it to be a very valuable tool. So thank you for that. Okay, so we're going to go to our high school student, Michaela, and ask her a couple of questions. She's just about to begin her senior year in high school. Michaela, peer pressure is real. How can a student avoid it?
So a good way to avoid peer pressure at school is just having a good support system and friends that support you in what you want to do and don't try to encourage you to do dumb things.
Describe for us how hard it is to catch up if you've ever missed class.
Well, especially last year since I had a heavy workload with 2 math-heavy classes, if I missed a day and it was an important learning day, I'd have to stay up to 2 hours after school at least to catch up. And that's very difficult, especially if it's just those 2 math-heavy classes that I just spent 2 hours catching up on. I still have English, I still had my extracurricular classes, and I still had a language class that maybe we went over vocabulary and I'm going to have to relearn all that after school on another day.
Tell us, what impact do you see truant and disruptive students have on a classroom setting?
As I've moved up in the school system and I'm going into my senior year, I see the amount of disruptive students going down as we mature. But as I was in 9th grade or 10th grade, if a student came in late, the teacher would have to stop the class, ask them why they were late, and check them in on their computer. And that would take 5 minutes out of the day, and that adds up over time. And also, especially in the 9th and 10th grade, there'd be a lot of kids acting out, and they would rile up the whole entire class, so that would take about 10 or 20 minutes to just settle the whole entire class down.
To get everybody right back on track.
Yeah.
Any words of wisdom that you'd like to offer about decisions for the future? As a high school senior, you're getting ready to start making these plans. So it's important for you to be in school every day and, selecting the right courses for your future, to set you up for a future. There's scholarships to be applied for, colleges to pick. What kind of things do you feel like being there every day helps you in that effort?
Well, just using all your resources that you have at school, because there's so many available to you. There's teachers who can help you with what you want to do. There's teachers who inspire you and they make you want to do something more with your life. Or you can go in and talk to counselors or anybody in the office and just talk to them about what you want to do when you grow up and the things that you would need to get there.
Okay. Are there any final thoughts from the group that we'd like to share before we close today?
Just another perspective. I think it's important that we recognize that when you have a child, regardless of what age it may be, school age maybe 5 to 18, that's habitually truant or has a pattern of not attending schools, there's a lot of things that could be happening with that child, the adolescent, within the family, and a lot of things that maybe they have no control over. In particular, if they're a family living in poverty, that may be having some social conditions that sometimes those make the decisions pretty tough to make in terms of getting to school. The simplest task becomes maybe a difficult task. And the other thing we need to recognize is that we as educators do have a responsibility to see the whole child, and sometimes that requires a little bit more attention, as I mentioned before, relationship building. But we do have a responsibility to, under the compulsory school attendance law, to do everything we can possible for that child and those parents.
I really want to thank each of you, especially for what you do for our children. They benefit from all of the things that you have described here today, and we really appreciate that. Our goal at the District Attorney's Office is always to see kids succeed and not the contrary, where we have to see them coming through our system there. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. We really appreciate you taking the time to listen to us today. And remember, school attendance matters. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or for more information, go to yoloda.org.